一切做了真真正正。 天上。 พ Tenzin Lama, deities of longevity, Dakinis of Uddiyana, an assembly of wealth gods, please bestow the four empowerments upon me and other fortunate disciples. Being bestowed with the supreme form empowerment upon my body, may I attain the indestructible Vajra body. Upon my speech, may I attain the power of Brahma's 60 melodies. Being bestowed with the supreme mind empowerment upon my mind, may I attain power over the unborn simplicity. May I obtain the essence kaya empowerment, the ultimate empowerment that is the spontaneous presence of the three kayas. I obtain the empowerment of the Guru's three kayas, which causes the three poisons to manifest as the three kayas. May I obtain the empowerment of the long-life deities and the 5 families, which causes the 5 poisons to manifest as the 5 aspects of primordial wisdom. May I obtain the empowerment of the Dakinis of Uddiyana, by which the body of deathless primordial wisdom is attained. May I obtain the empowerment of white Zambala Yabyum, which effortlessly and spontaneously accomplishes ordinary and sublime cities. May I obtain the empowerment of wealth gods and treasure lords, which perfects the abundance of food, wealth, and riches. May I obtain the empowerment of Mahabudra, which liberates from samsara's pain. May I obtain the empowerment of self-knowing Dharmakaya, which is the primordial delusional perceptions of unawareness. May I obtain the empowerment of the great completion, which is the primordial purity of all phenomena of samsara and nirvana. May I obtain the empowerment of the great middle way, which naturally liberates the four extremes of eternalism and nihilism. May I obtain the empowerment of the perfection of wisdom, which is inexpressible, being beyond words and thoughts. May I obtain the empowerment of total openness, free from fixation, which naturally liberates linguistic propensities. May I obtain the empowerment of immortal life, which is the unchanging expanse of awareness. May I obtain the empowerment of awakening within one lifetime, which is the endless accumulation of merit. The Guru, who is the three kayas, deities of longevity, dakinis of Buddhiyana, and assembly of wealth gods, my own body, speech, and mind. This life, all stable and established matter, all these dissolve like clouds dissolving in the sky, or water pouring into water. Without reference point into the all-pervasive open space of By this virtue of timelessness beyond the three times, may all beings be relieved from the suffering of poverty, hunger, and thirst. And may all wishes and enjoyments be fulfilled. At last may they swiftly attain the most excellent state of the Master Padmasambhava. And Amitabha in the Buddha field great bliss.
Yellow book, page number 34. Namo menza shere ye, she zan ga yan sab je yang ba la, do de jin gar je be zara je, je ge min je men be so nan ku, se zi wang bo jan be yang lan do, tai na zong de san chuo nian be ba,君命大了教也满这呗，来这万个的多个这家，我这边这了教人讲呗样，当那现在都是动物呢，这些上边你也刚当着，俺跟这边新界真不是，新界这了教。多年的那人年啥关的，七八百多年嘛能有些，做干人这样啥人吃的呗，么能够去见见呗呀，百多难个青山就是呗子，莫跟结果大了让的人，他的将心心呗他的。结为等着这件将白呀，结为什么多的云等结，定见真白，定把此见真白印你的，将着等着这件将白呀，堂客头结定白印你的，立把的送着将此做，此的见多难现了等了白。nam jo lo de zo zhen jian bei yan, cai ra guan de yin de gao na se, Sena me ba do ba gong dong yen, na bien ba ba sam den gong ba so. Ha sen ro de zo jian jian be yang, ko ba sa dong se be se sen jo. Song rai ga re nge la dang de jian, na bien le le dang de sen lai be. Nim jo de jian. Yan be yan, sam lan da be lan la ra gyo ne. Nam do do be lan da zhong do jiang, ga de min da ne, ko be xia gui jian. Ko be yin da jie jian jian be yan, ran de nie ye guan de sa de ban ne. Lab jin jie de be ba se de dan do jiang, da ge long de ma ren ten be de. Ma ren dong bo zong jian jian be yan, do na da so jie wa tam jie de. Song ra jian zi so la din zi jian, zhou lan du ge ma lun jiong we ne. Ib jin nu re jir jian jian be yan, jiao yang qiu la so wa da be de. Te be zhi jin jian, zhou na si be so le zhu wa la. Da jian qu ge jir jian jian be yan, den den ne ne zong ne so. Sama san jiao ma do ba, jie zan jian be yang jie ne. Da ge lama jie de so, zi din qu jian qin ra er zi re jie. Da lo de mo mu ba ra za ne, ga dan din jie jiao lo do ba ye. Lo zhe bong be na wa za de so, gang zhe da wa ran du ba. Jung zhe zhe wa ran du na yang, gong bo jian bian qun ye jie. Gen me ba yan tong wa yo, so jie nan gen te do ge. Sim jin guan de zhe zi zi, jia dan jia yan jun zi bo. Na so ju ba den zhe yo, da jian jia yan ga lin jie. Sa ran ga wa da ba da, da de se ra ren ba da. Rab de zong wa do ba yo. Long lay pray, page number 22. O ga re ra ve go ve gen ga za, pan dan de wa ma le jiong we ne. Jin re zhen wa den zhen jiang zo ye, ya be zhen de ba, ten jiu jie, guan jiu zhen de xiao jia sen ge ye. Ben ban zhen jie be be da ni jie, guan zan jiu ban zhu ren che len jiu. Lun zhe jie zi la me ya de zo, guan jiu zhen jie da ni zhe gong be. Din ban zhen la da da du jian de, dan be jun jie xie si ma wa ye, jie ge wu zhen jiu ge ya de zo, ba be ya na er ya de wa ye, do gan so zhen ge jie ren se zhen, jie den gun be du zi jie den, por din ge jie ge zi ge jia den. Xie za gun ze gun jian xue jie jie, den zhen ne la wang de zhe gong ba, ren jian ba zhe jie dan ba zhen de ba. Te san gong ben zhen jie jie, sa duan ge lai jie be jie bo duan, jian duan ge ba zang be sa jie dong, nam kai de be jie be zi wa jie. Samba jin re zhe la zo wa de, wo ma ne be me, wo re, wo ma ne be me, wo re, wo ma ne be me, wo re. Dele, Tatari, Santamelin Jacob, not the last time getting to dog and doing Navalatri, Tashi Dele, Trincosima, Lona, show it up for the Kangina, Lo Kashever and Tanishiji, or Honda, meaning your own good job. Nitira Tamsi, the Bachimbo, Nitira Tarum, somebody that Tarum Jacob Tamjani, Roma Mambo Petrico Jam, so Pekang, Yore, they coming at the Duba, the Turkey, Dribland, telling the Bayore, Slachi Bayoma, the Lucas Ori, the Niti, doing the death of the Trinka Yore, the Mache Bachina, the Romatan Tela Sena. Sadhana, many same time which are this all on the day, della Jacomamboli Pecchio age.
So, Dhamma friends from around the world in all the different countries that you're joining us from, many Dashi Delek, and wish you a long life. And also, we have been doing this practice of the Yamantaka for several years now, and following the particular lineage of the Jikung Kagyu for this. And a lot of disciples have a great wish to do this practice. And so, therefore, they're normally coming from far away, from many countries from around the world to join the Drupchen. And so before, many disciples would always come. And so often people had, the difficulty really was that many people didn't get a seat in the Drupchen. And so why is that? It is because we engage in this practice in an authentic way. The difference lies not in the deity, but what's most important is the way in which we engage in practice. And so this practice of Yamantaka, according to the Jikung Kagyu lineage, has been practiced in an unbroken lineage constantly. And that is what the disciples recognize in their minds. So it is because through practicing authentically, the deity's mind and the people's minds, the disciples' minds, connect. They are very close, and this is what the disciples are feeling. And that's why from many countries in the world, they always come to participate in this Drupchen.
the top the church in the Mashika part of the Chabraja Mari. The Dr. Mahipaton, Jersey, told that Chiva Hako, the Jeta Jebatani, church in the matter of part of the Chabdaki or Mari. Part of that number in Kasakan, that's the Jacob Naptatam, Roman Namyong Ravate, Printing, the Tovati Yore. They were talking also to make this an update. Flag some teaching or take champion worry. Not the many same time or chai or the take only the flag some tea be one marry. Muggy meeting. Tova took a go into Dogo yore. Sir, Josham Lasso potato jelly. Muggy going into Sam Joba. Then none didn't get on Damian tell us who are going to check down though. Dadun disease tobaga in Narasoa Kegova. So I tell it, some teeth, Julian Joker, Mr. The way that Samadin, you get Tamsiga taller, drop Germat, Germat, Damian that gave a gentleman. This is an absolute rule. This is not a law. The couple one got a lady one, the word is the name, but I chopped out till it's still a Tokyo. Then it's shocking Yamsal and Yamlin Tokyo. Naturally, certain that was a Machupa go yori. They are senator that that's what the heavy to talk. That be Kalimabo Jonathan, part of the director, the Chabra, the Petogichimo, Nang Yori.
also Three Arja community, Dabder to Jelasova, Juditity, Church of the Juriore. Research about the Palace or Tevin to Sogre, Trita Pater, Roma Tabjik, some one is John Dutchell, the summer surge the look the tree. That is saying is yacht about the tree. That's about how to go so.
And so, in the past, when we held this retreat, not that many people joined, and it was also now held in a much more secret way, and also we followed very strict rules. And so now this year it's a little bit different. This year it's widely streamed, announced throughout the world. And so what's the reason that in the beginning it was practiced in this secret way? It's because it has to be done that way until we know how to do the practice really in an authentic way. Until this point, it is not appropriate to widely announce or stream this practice. And so now things are coming together. And so first we have translated the words, which is the phonetics, and not only that, also the meaning. And then also we have received commentary on that. So all the ritualistic aspects have been practiced and so forth. So basically we have trained, we have practiced this practice until we have really accomplished it in an authentic way. And so that's why now was the time to widely announce it in the world. And people from over 50 countries were able to join the retreat. And the disciples experience really very profound experiences, a connection to the deity when they engage in this practice. So that is an actual experience that arises in their practice, and that's because of the deity's blessings. And the blessings of the deity is the pervasive, the all-pervasive, great love of the deity. And through recognizing that, through our own faith in the practice, we are connecting our mind to the mind of the deity, and in this way, then we receive the deity's blessings, which is love. The deity's blessing is love. And all the deities have love, but also we as the practitioners, we have to enter into a state of faith and devotion, and also really with our 6 sense consciousnesses really completely absorb ourselves in the practice. And so then the various aspects are practiced, the outer aspects of, for example, the arrangement of different offerings and ritual articles and so on. And then on the inner level, we visualize and we follow the chant in verse form, like we are reciting, we're chanting in melody. And by doing that, by chanting in melody, actually we are dispelling the thoughts that associate like certain concepts with objects. And so the grasping at sound, basically. And then on the secret level, we actually enter into the mind of the deity, which is love. So in this is what we call the blessings of the deity enter our mind. And so now over the years, in order for this to happen, for this experience to arise, the text, the sadhana, has been put into first phonetics, and not only that, it also has been translated, and then also we put it into verse form so it can be chanted. And people experience a special feeling, and they want to engage in this practice. And so this year, it is due to outer circumstances, the pandemic, that it seems that now the time has come, the time is ripe for this practice to be widely announced. This seems to be the right time now since the pandemic happened. And so now anyone who wants to engage in this practice is allowed to do so. But when you do the practice, it is also necessary to practice it really in an authentic way, the way we have been doing it. And then also, I would like to recognize the our Taiwan Center, who has put in a lot of effort, a lot of hard work to put these videos and pictures and so on together that we were able to stream. So they really actually put in an incredible amount of effort. I'm very grateful for that. And also here on our side in America, we have translated the text and put it into phonetics so people can follow the text. And in any case, now the practice really has become authentic. We know how to do the practice. And also the Taiwan Center, in the video, they were also able to put it together in 3 languages so that disciples from the various countries can train in the practice really in an authentic way, and so that it really enters into their heart. And so this all has been accomplished, and I'm pleased, very happy about this.
Roma salva in la delicasi tesom tigore tesom titarin salgo ni parte kang yore de o ta tigire de zamare ye ta sangu yore di tesom de karege salgo de jarka pakbolong dela tele chuko ta longo salap dela so parte ni sa chuko yore 이 강이 자로 까까리 산지 종대 되게 습지 남 상지니 오자 로버트 메드스 말이 오 습지 탐제가 세대 저리 상제리 오 따티스마데 세문이지 가지니 제시요 말이스 오 딜라 마다베 줄리 타고 줄리니 요리 마다베 줄리 땅에서도 물류니 마다베 줄리 들 나타 동네 로를 둘로 꼬라져 그리 줄리 대랭 가서 빈시 너무 통거 요래 깨고 요래 오 샘가리리 샘사제 sab지가 사바체메 바스 요래 니가 가디는 요래 무슨 적딘디 뱀고는 세욕창하네 샘들 상촉 세우나 내가 상속되는 자 송다가 답을 가리 롱거리 추가도 롱거 예성을 샘남 가다버디 추거리 디는 라지 샤로를 때 라가 생고랑 샤로인데 코디 이쪽 봐도 요마 샘이 이쪽 람이서 대니 regular 사제 말씀이 고안 장소도 이 속은 통통은 오 샘은 좋은 요 말이지 디는 샤로를 때다 나와 탐지 라가 샘들 오 사쪽 생고랑 뭐 답을 줄이 따다다 담배 추고 거를 샤로를 때 등은이들이 따들은 등은이래 근데 가디는 요리 있으면 근데 대략들이 다 망바로 마트가 냠이게 초고 요래 들이 다다 스무보라들이 왕롱치 데 고송거리 되게 바 고거리 얘네 왕제 땅에는 잠벌린 건 낭바 같아 잠벌 양거 왕도 톱이 이 왕도 톱이 요래 얘네 다치 내 갑들이 로이 대도나 때니 왕 라리 왕도 톱고 와서 대서 제가 레디 얘네 잠벌 양 왕도 톱 들이 알아봤는 오션이더니 롱톱 요래 들이 때렸다가 무엇이잖아 들이 왕 롱타 차톱 요래 이제니 저거 말이야 이제 대식이 뭐더라 올라오버트마 다지니디 때 파시스 사는 심지 답지 예리 답바테 족지는 까리 답바서 사치는 이제 또 많이 되지 사자체 보는들이 탑에 봐서 선단 나와 체면서 생각을 지지 하고서 오 데라 로버트마 다지디 다지 이디 때 백성사는 이 가리는 제 쪽이요 가리는 저쪽이요 산쪽 생구랑 답은 줄리 저거요 다지가 마다베 줄리 저거래 이때는 마음과 생각이 냠이 제 쪽으로 대회는 될까래 잡아대. 들이라는 게 주변 요지만 전나 로마 같은 존나요. 이 소소가 들이라는 강반나. 이 답득다마 로마 가시에 존나요. 랑 찍고는 저가 가지나들이 너타지 겁나요. 다디 빠드 배두동 얘기해. 이 양이 제 저거래. 니는 로마산이 니래. 닝바 루틴 쇼송이래. 로가오나. 대야 보래. 대야 냠냠에서 냠리서 하고 있지가 요래. 대면은 로사를 답변하더니 잡을 시와가 당고 뭐람 이제 뭐면 니바세들이 양양까지 또 대사족서 지금 대니 받치거리 따따대 이제를 쇼나 잡양 니바 먼저 맞선 쇼고 저저 첨대리 이 고도를 핀부체들 레터버 사족서 유를 때베체들 랑 로버부터 맞아 사베체들이 살라베체들 시에요래 다 대답지 로마 사바타리게 다전들이 자명강하고 잡아양 니바져도 성나 양배양 시바들이 다다 강 산지 탐색의 남지 시직도 되었다니 산지에서 윤리들이 이식은 거거든 잡아양 니지가 뭐지 지네 차들 돈이고 어디 사도도 예성 그래서 사지 탐색 고성도다니 그때 냠설이 좋고요래 그때가 했지만 이제까지 냠설이 죽기 뭐요래 냠설은 담책도 들이다다 그것도 족생을 그것도 족생이 사바체미 바데 줄했지나 들이 도담 사족생 니지메 봐 다기니메 봐라 이거 착요래 그때들이 따뜻하게 저시와 가지 냠설이나 드위드서 그렇게 들이나게 잘하니 들이대나니 남이잖아 그거 요즘 좀 장롱 마좀 장롱 들이 다다 로마한테 서카리는 기위기니 돌아라서 같아 듣기가 무슨 냠들은 좀 해봐래 샘좀 해봐래 이 사족생 맞지를 좀 요래 사족생 기사는 좀 해봐 차고 요래 배는 차그럽 때좀 요래 주제 요래 설그 봐 차고 요래 옛날양 차로 자소를 좀 말해 나팔 좀 요래 됐다 했더니 남바 사제배 타톡가 동다 대바데 대바니 있어. 내가 차로도 이제 주일좀 사바체미 제고스. 사바체미 이제라들이 좋니요 말때 하고도 그때 동남 대바래서. 그 타톡 사제 고만 들이 차디요래 사지 세진인지와 이들을 막 싸워시는 너는 색깔 마음과 나랑 수소 냠설이야. 너희들 빠트 배조 동안 들이 냠설이 줘봐. 사탑전지 봐야 battery 대가 되는 따사오는 야이
So there are probably many newer disciples, also some disciples who have done this practice before. And so regardless of who you are, it's possible that there's often there's one doubt that we have in the mind, and so this is this doubt. I will clear away this doubt today. So the doubt is about the live stream and seeing, or not just the live stream, even seeing something on the screen, like a recording too. So people think that this is not like real. This is not this is fake. But actually, so how do we clear away this doubt? We clear away this doubt through the actual words of the Buddha and also the various scriptures containing the words of the other exalted masters. And also we can clear away this doubt through the blessings of the Dharmakaya and the Sambhogakaya. So first of all, regarding the Buddha's words, the Buddha himself had said, all sentient beings are actually Buddhas. They are only obscured by adventitious stains. So on the basis, fundamentally, all beings are actually Buddha. Their nature is pure. Their mind, the true nature of their mind is without birth and death. So there are two illusory bodies, two kinds of illusory body. There is the pure and the impure illusory body. The impure illusory body is our physical body. And the impure illusory body experiences sickness, a lot of pain, suffering. It's that body that wanders around in the 6 realms of samsara. And so now, through the practice of the deity, we recognize the pure illusory, the pure illusory body. And so the pure illusory body of the deity that we see really is nothing else but an embodiment of immeasurable love. The Buddhas all possess immeasurable love. And that love is always, at any time, always there, it's always present. And also, even when we have cast aside, we have left behind this material body in this world, then still there is the mind. This immeasurable love still remains. And it continues to appear as a rainbow-like form, the Sambhogakaya. And the Sambhogakaya and the Dharmakaya are a union. And from this union arises the pure illusory body of the Sambhogakaya, of the deity. The Dharmakaya is the empty space-like mind. And from within that space-like mind, anything appears naturally. So the deity appears as the natural projection of the reflection of one's own mind. Because ultimately, there is no separation between samsara and nirvana. The Samantabhadra prayer, it says, there is a single ground, yet two paths. And then also it says in this text, if you, in terms of your awareness, if you recognize your awareness, you are a Buddha. Not recognizing it, or this single ground, you are a sentient being wandering in samsara. So the mind of sentient beings seems to have much coming and going. Ultimately, the mind is without coming and going. And everything arises from within this mind, and therefore it's without coming and going. It comes from nowhere else. So it is said that appearances are one's own mind. So from the mind of bodhicitta arises the pure illusory body that is always and actually present. So in any case, in the future, all of you disciples are permitted to engage in this practice also on your own. And so, of course, normally we do need to receive empowerments, transmissions, and instructions. But then with regard to empowerment, for example, in this world, many people have received the Manjushri empowerment. And so there's different Manjushris, so for the time being, it actually is enough if you just have received one Manjushri empowerment. And then, of course, we receive many different kinds of empowerments. But for example, if you know the peaceful Manjushri mantra, the Om Arapatsanadi mantra, you can also recite this one. You can recite either one. It really doesn't make a difference, which is kind of a prerequisite to engage in this practice. And so you have received empowerment, and you also have received transmission. And so then we have this rule normally that in order to participate in the Yamantaka Drupchen, you must accumulate 100,000 Manjushri mantras. So then, as for the reason for that, so first of all, the reason why we need to do that is to recognize that which we are introduced to during the empowerment. And actually, if you would always abide in this natural state, the base is the ground, then none of these recitations would even be necessary. But because you already have seen the ultimate truth. And once you abide in the ultimate truth, in the Dzogchen, for example, this is referred to as the state of primordial purity, or the empty ground. In Mahamudra, it is referred to as the space-like mind that transcends center or boundary, any physical dimension. is no different to open space. So once you have understood that, actually you can engage really in any practice. You're allowed to engage in any practice. That is, when all of these temporary stains are cleared away, when there is no more grasping at all at self-other duality, then you can really do anything. You're allowed to do really anything. And also anything, your mind can appear in any deity, anything can arise within the mind, as long as there is bodhicitta. From bodhicitta arises the pure illusory body. From self-grasping arises the impure illusory body. So in the future, you're all allowed to engage in this practice, and also on your own at home, or if you do it together in a group, however many disciples come together, it's fine. You should have a pure samaya with one another. And then regarding the time, however much time you have, it could be a week, for example, then you're allowed to use the text and engage in practice also on your own, or in a group, as you wish. And so generally we have more senior disciples and newer disciples. And if you do a group practice, then it would be good to also include some senior disciples, because they have experience in the practice and they can also help the newer disciples. And actually this is also part of the practice lineage of blessings, because these senior disciples have already gained experience in the practice, and then they're kind of passing it on through practicing together with the newer disciples. And so regarding coming back to the peaceful Manjushri mantra recitation, so normally it is said that you do the retreat, the Drupchen. In order to do the Drupchen, you have to recite 100,000 Manjushri mantras. And so the reason is also because then the benefits are greater and the power of the practice is greater. But also it has to do really with your motivation of bodhicitta. And also if you have this preliminary practice, it's easier to clear away all kinds of things that suddenly might come up, some kind of obstacles that might come up in the practice. And so therefore the newer disciples in particular, I recommend that you kind of on an ongoing basis continue to accumulate, recite the peaceful Manjushri mantra, anyone, it doesn't have to be one or the other. And Manjushri himself also he's the embodiment of all the Buddha's enlightened, omniscient mind, all-knowing mind. Manjushri is the embodiment of the primordial wisdom of all the Buddhas. His essence is the primordial wisdom of all the Buddhas. The essence of all the Buddha's compassion is Chenrezig, and the essence of all the Buddha's emptiness is Vajrapani. So these are so in this sense, also all the Buddhas, and also Manjushri is an embodiment of all the Buddha's enlightened body, speech, and mind. So in any case, it was much hard work to put it all together, but now everyone is allowed to engage in this practice. And it is important that you actually do the practice and keep your samaya pure, which is mainly on the relative level to cultivate bodhicitta. It is to cultivate immeasurable love. And when immeasurable love arises, then the ultimate bodhicitta, which is to see the non-duality of self and other, will naturally arise. And so therefore, so that's the samaya. And so when you engage in this practice, you are free to receive these videos and text and so forth, and you can listen to the chants so that you can train and engage in this practice on your own. And so then you follow it according to how it is in the video. And when you're practicing on your own, you assemble however many offering substances you can. So you might not be able to assemble some, and that is fine. And then you practice together with your other spiritual friends, with your Dharma friends. or on your own, and you follow the chant according to the practice, the video, and you forget about bodhicitta. As long as you do not forget about bodhicitta, actually our minds are always together. So even if you do the practice on your own, because the mind is without coming and going, our minds will be together as long as you do not forget bodhicitta. Of course, if you forget bodhicitta, then the mind again becomes like an ice block. And for an ice block, there always is coming and going. But an ice block can melt. And when the ice has melted into the ocean, when the ice becomes the ocean, then again there is no more coming and going. Or just like space, there is no coming and going in space. So the ultimate teaching of the Buddhist view is the twofold truth. The relative truth is to cultivate immeasurable love, bodhicitta. And when that arises, actually, the ultimate truth arises on its own, because through immeasurable love, you realize non-duality. And that's the ultimate truth, and that's the ultimate state of enlightenment. So this is how ultimately sentient beings are connected to the mind of all the Buddhas. And so knowing that shall dispel the doubts that we have in our mind. So in any case, in brief, what I wanted to say is that in the future, from now on, everyone can engage, is allowed to engage in this practice also on your own, and you are also allowed to use the videos and so on, the materials in the text, so that you really are able to engage in practice properly. So this is how I have. This is a kind of a new thing that I want to place inside your hearts.
다 기치보 섬주요 드냐미 나와라 기치보 적강리 들이다다 드바보 닝바타지 들이치나 태니 섬 이게 조통에 또들이 쇼다들 랑게 섬을 쳐바지들이 랑게 사바서 hin지라서 쳐바지와 디 드바보 대탐지게 들이 드바보 사바타지를 로바난고 들이 냠이 제메타들 냠데지나 하자니 받지 보내냐 미스를 합디 받지 새로 초발이 받지로서 합랍고요. 대회는 빼면서 쇼지잖아. 엄마만 보줄라. 들이 쇼지 받대 찾잖아들이 쇼지 뒤보 착을 빼 되는 게니 삼대의 유니티 룹진 효성의 로만이 보다지게 페이스사 받아지 로나야 제 동들이 니발라들이 다다다니 다 루발냐미 되고니 드라망을 제통지 어떤 기본적인 뭐지 다 공부 로마볼 수상 장면들이 지지대 다들 배약분 챙거를 놓으려고 이렇게 와서지 공부를 공부 생각을 별로 답난 거리 나나게 뭔가 장면이 레카시 yap고 답답하면 이렇게 나야 이렇게 왔으면 봐라들 다 냠리 제백감이 가게 너무 말도 답게 되는 정도 일 필요 사람들 딜로 돼서 오는 잡을 감수 생기 남주야 생기는 동해요. 전나들이 잡을 데스트야 타네들랑 약한 델람세 데이터 말 생기 디지는 거는 소화고 디지터도 대장매들이 조사받침이 장난 거래. 나야 강내 무신에서 사바침이 돼서 삼지 대사도 어네 대대디 이제서도 기치 뭐요래. 들이들은 자신들이 드바보 탕제르더니 로치선로 칠란들로 갈람서 봤어요더니 남모랑 자신들이 저기 디지털 쇼트 탑이 가자까 쇼트 탑이라 이 두개치 로치들이 같이 총나라게 약합디 람스 암트바를 소화가들이 대차고래.
And there are three important things that I would like to mention regarding the practice. The first one is, there are some senior disciples, which are those who have, in this practice now, who have done the practice, the Drupchen, at least 2 or 3 times or so. And mainly, they have experienced the feeling of the Drupchen. while they did the retreat. And they have also cultivated love and compassion and so forth. So all of these practitioners, I encourage you to help the newer practitioners and practice together with them. If you practice together, then the power is much greater. And the blessings will then enter your mind. And when the blessing enters your mind, a feeling arises. A feeling in your mind arises. That's a sign that the blessings enter your mind. And so these are kind of the older disciples help the newer disciples to pour in these blessings gradually. It's just like when you have some kind of older curd or yogurt, and you keep pouring a little bit of milk and more and more little milk in there, then it becomes more like a smooth, sweet-tasting yogurt, not this curled kind of curd. Anyways, then the newer disciples, their mind will become more pliant and their practice stable. So therefore, I ask the the older disciples who have experience in the practice to assist the newer disciples. So that's number one. Number two is that people might have a lot of questions about the retreat, the Drupchen, and also I encourage you to ask questions to Khenpo Tenzin Rinpoche. He really has trained the Dharma for many years, and especially when it comes to the knowledge in the scriptures and reasoning and so on, logic, then he's very really excellent with that. And also he's asking the other monks for clarifications and so on. So in any case, when he gives an answer, it's really very transparent, not hiding anything. So therefore, I encourage you to ask questions to him, because I myself also do not see very well with my eyes, and so therefore I'm not able to answer all of the questions or requests. So that's number two. And number three is that now in terms of the practice itself, it is said all suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. Most important when you engage in this practice is to have a wish to benefit others. So in an instant, ideally bring to mind the suffering of all the sentient beings in the three realms of samsaric existence. Or on a kind of medium level, you bring to mind all the sentient beings in this world. But at least you should bring to mind the suffering of the sentient beings, the beings in your country, for example. And when that comes to your mind, a real feeling has to arise in your mind. So the most important practice for you is to train your mind in immeasurable love. For example, this is what I'm doing. I myself actually don't know so much, but I do have a little bit of love. So these three things are most important. So with that, Dharma friends Tashi Delek and all the practitioners who have joined this retreat, thank you. And I pray that the mind will turn toward the Dharma, and that the Dharma will be free of confusion, and that confusion itself may arise as wisdom. So that is my prayer. So I'm thanking and very grateful to everyone who has joined us on the live stream on the internet. So thank you very much, or on the screen. And so again, the most important thing to remember is that at the very least, you should be able to bring to mind the suffering of all the beings in your country.
Thank you, Lama.
Thank you so much, His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche, on behalf of the worldwide Sangha. With tremendous gratitude and love in our hearts, we thank you for the inconceivable benefit that you have bestowed upon us through the empowerment and practice of Manjushri Yamantaka. For the first time, we have streamed this retreat online, and there were participants from 63 countries and a total of 1,769 total participants. And there were, for the first time, students participating in the number of 1,296 new students. And then there were 473 returning students. So all of these numbers were combined with the Garchen Dharma Institute in Taiwan, who kindly assisted in the registration efforts and in helping and creating the amazing video. And we hope to add page numbers on the screen in English in the future to help make it easier for people to follow. We really want to thank the Worldwide Sangha for making so many generous offerings for this retreat, and for Garchen Rinpoche and to the Lamas and the monastics and our translator and to the Garchen Institute. So we also want to thank everyone at the Garchen Institute who has helped make this retreat possible. So thank you to Khenpo Tenzin for his teaching commentary and his practice. Thank you to Lama Bunima for the oral transmission of the texts and your practice. Thank you to Lama Abao, our master torma maker, for the amazing and elaborate and complex tormas and for your practice. Thank you to Khenpo Thupsang for helping to make the tormas and for your practice. Thank you to Ani Dagme for all of your help with the preparation of the tormas and as the chopin for the retreat. Special thank you to Ani Sampton for the editing and proofing of the Yamantaka Sadhana, and thank you and to Chauncey at the Garchen Institute and the team there for working so hard to edit and make the Yamantaka video according to Garchen Rinpoche's very specific instruction. We really want to make a tremendous thank you to Ina Buehler, our translator, for working so hard to finish the translation of the partial sadhana, and to those who helped her, Amber Moore with the editing and Alana Cohen with the formatting. Thank you all to the translators around the world for making the empowerment and practice accessible in so many languages. Thank you to Alexander in Russia for running the 24-hour mantra Zoom room. And thank you to Billy for operating all the live streams so well. Thank you to Padma for managing this retreat, all the hard work that you put in for it to go so smoothly. And thank you also to the Garchen Buddhist Institute volunteer team that helped make this retreat successful. That would be Amy and Uno, Alana, Jensen, Su Young, Amelia, and Jan. And be sure to tune in tomorrow morning. Join us, Arizona time, for the Losar celebration online with His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche. He will be bestowing the refuge vows. And if you're on our email list, check your email for more information on that event tomorrow morning. It's also on our website. And then in the afternoon, there will be the 10,000 Namgyama offering puja hosted by Rinchen Choling. And then also, please remember our upcoming new series, The Path to Awakening, and an overview on introduction and overview on Buddhism by Khenpo Tenzin starting February 16th. We're so happy to practice with all of you around the world, and may this practice benefit all beings. May all be auspicious. Be safe, take care, and much love.